You may have heard, folks, that the Muppets are unfortunately going away, and they're going away June 7th. Ugh, that's not good. But what I think is good is that they're at least keeping the attraction open for just a little bit longer on that day. This is by Blog Mickey here. Disney extends hours for Muppet Vision 3D on final day, June 4th, 2025. Vision 3D will have extended hours for its final day of operation on June 7th. The attraction, which typically closes 1 hour before the park closing time, will remain open until close on June 7th. Here's the current schedule. You can see June 4th, you have 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. operations, June 5th, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., June 6th is the same way, and June 7th, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. This is little consolation to people who love this attraction and understand its history when it comes to entertainment in general. Obviously, we understand that Jim Henson's last real project that he ever worked on was Muppet Vision 3D. And so to lose this attraction at all, I think is a real crying shame. But culture, is this a consolation prize? Is it nice to see that this is open one more hour? Or is it a cheap way of Walt Disney World trying to placate fans?
Yeah, I don't think it's either. I think this is just another slap in the face to fans. Look, we've covered this multiple times, and the only thought process that I have here is that there's no reason to tear this building down. There's no reason to repurpose this building. There's no reason to not have this attraction operate while they're building something at the end of the street. There's no reason for it. The loss of the Muppets is significant to a lot of people, especially in my age bracket, and for generations beyond that. This is always a fun place to go and hang out. The pre-show alone is humorous enough to keep you engaged, which always astounded me because I always thought that the Universe of Energy and the other places that did the same concept for a show style attraction did very poor jobs. I think of Mickey's PhilharMagic is a terrible pre-show, but for whatever reason, the Muppets got it perfect, right? And it's very entertaining, multiple televisions. It's done in a way where many times all those TVs are fully involved in showing you something. And again, I marvel at the pre-show and the props and everything else that's in there. Right. And I'm thinking, if they plus this up, if they gave it budget to just do more in this pre-show and a little bit more that they could certainly add to the show itself, this attraction is good for another 15 years, 20 years, perhaps. There's no reason to remove it. And that's ultimately, it's the same problem we have with Rivers of America. You have zero reason to remove this. You are lazy to do that. Go ahead, Jonas. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And we'll talk about the concept art issue here is that Muppet Vision 3D is the only thing in that space. So you really have to be intentionally going down there, or there's some restaurants back there, or there used to be some restaurants back there, I should say.
Well, this used to be a way to get back to lights, camera, whatever it was.
Yeah. And as much as people supposedly hate that and they said it didn't fit with the theme, no, it was a Hollywood theme. It fit.
Yeah, everything fit. When they took the tour out, the tour, I can understand that it was terribly boring. They never really gave it the kind of a treatment they should have. But there was a lot of purpose behind this, multi-purpose behind this area in Streets of America, because you and I were talking about it on the phone, Jonas, just the other day. Christmas lights used to be the thing that I never missed. I had to be at Disney World 6 times a year minimum to do all of the things that I wanted to do. Yeah. That isn't true anymore. Anyway.
Yeah. Now I'm only have a professional interest in Disney and what they're doing at this point. So yeah, they don't have to take out Muppet Vision 3D in order to do what they're doing with the Monsters Inc. land. Again, we get into this idea that some Imagineer near the top, some executive, probably some guy who doesn't wear undershirts and has the top 2 buttons of his button-up shirts undone. Not that I'm being super specific about the Mimbo that is in charge of some of these recent redesigns. He wants these things to be immersive. He doesn't want story. He doesn't want book report rides because he thinks that those are all the buzzwords that everybody wants to hear. They're going to take this out. You know what? If you have the Monsters Inc. roller coaster at the end, it doesn't really affect Muppet Vision 3D. In fact, your numbers would go up for Muppet Vision 3D if you have a great attraction at the end of this year. You can do your sushi restaurant, whatever. I don't care about your sushi restaurant. I'm not going to pay the insane prices that Disney is going to charge for sushi, but some dink is going to do it. This entire thing to me is a lack of ideas, and Monsters Inc. theater show TBD is not good enough to say we're going to get rid of Muppet Vision 3D.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And look, I mean, you and I are locked up on this. I think probably Vash is as well. Most of us in this space probably say the same thing. And I'm going to have to tell any Imagineer that thinks that book report rides aren't what they're going for. Boy, do they misunderstand Fantasyland as a concept. They misunderstand most everything. If you're not telling a story in this immersive environment that you're creating, number one, you've got a problem, which Disney does. But at the same time, if you're not telling a familiar story to people or retelling it in a new physical way that they can experience, which is a book report, then you're missing the whole idea of theme parks. You want to be an amusement park person. You don't want to be a theme park person.
So, man, I am going to miss this show. It's a great show. And, there are classic Disney attractions that I would actually say are other than the fact that they're sacred cows and cannot actually be removed from the parks. I only do It's a Small World because it's there. This is actually something that makes you laugh. This is engaging to the audience in a way that some of the classic, actually Walt attractions are. This is a great show, and it is a great, it's air conditioned and it's funny. And it's a great introduction to an IP that Disney doesn't know what to do with. So I don't know. This one, to me, this can move product if they would only put product there. If they actually took down those walls that section off the walkway there before you get over to Galaxy's Edge, there are so many things that they could do to drive up attendance in this specifically. To me, it is a void of creativity to get rid of this right here. They don't know how to do anything that doesn't cost $1 billion, and you don't have to spend $1 billion to rehab the situation you have with Muppet Vision 3D.
Well, and I know that we're wrapping up here, but I just want to tell everybody my thoughts right now are that Iger on his way out the door is trying to make these parks cost less. And you do that by eliminating, these kinds of thoughtful attractions that do require some maintenance. And I think that everything about the new park thoughts and concepts are about removing expense and not guest experience. Guest experience is now at the absolute bottom of the to-do list when it comes to any Disney theme park. And you know what? They should be embarrassed.
They should.
They should. And operationally, while this is maybe a little consolation to some out there, but I do agree with the culture's point. It's really not. This just is more to the list of things that are closing at Walt Disney World, either permanently or just for a heavy reversion cycle. We just actually learned right before we actually went live this morning that the permit has been filed for the upcoming Buzz Lightyear attraction overhaul, and that ride is closing in August. So this summer, we'll have Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Astro Orbiter, Test Track, Muppet Vision 3D, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, Rivers of America with its Liberty Bell and Tom Sawyer's Island, all closing, either permanently or for a good chunk of the summer. And it's just it's sad that Disney didn't lean into nostalgia, lean into what people really loved about going to Walt Disney World Resort, because I think that was a stronger play, especially with Epic Universe actually opening. It's like, hey, look, listen, we have, Epic Universe has the latest and new and all of that. They're the most technologically advanced theme park, but here is where your memories were made. So make them again with children that you're bringing to Walt Disney World. That should have been the play. Unfortunately, they didn't actually do that.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.